Welcome, welcome, welcome. This is Andrea Epting, and you're listening to the Direct Impact podcast. And you're either listening to this or watching this. So thanks so much to the people who have tuned in on YouTube. We're so happy to have you. All right. We are wrapping up season 6, where we talked about the Plan to Recover mini journal, a journal for recovery and self-discovery. We talked about the benefits of implementing a journaling practice on your journey for health and wellness and renewal and healing and all of this stuff. I mean, it's really been transformational for me, which is what prompted me to write one that was helpful for me and helpful for my clients in their healing and recovery process. So I wanted to offer that kind of like to the world at large, because I know that if it works for me, and it works for the people that I'm, serving, then it's going to work for, the public. And so some people have decided to do a 90-day challenge during this time. And we really want to hear about like what's working for you, what's not working for you, what are some things that you found a great deal of value in with regards to the prompts and the check-in. And what are some things that, you've implemented kind of like on your own that works better for you, because it's all about you. It's all about coming back to yourself every single day. And anyway, I think this is what we're talking about today, is just really what have you learned? That's what this episode's about. It's like, if you did the 90-day challenge, even if you engaged as often as you could, even if you thought, I'm going to look at it every day on my bedside table for 90 days, maybe I didn't open it yet. That's fine. There's another 90 days. But what did you learn? Because even if you just looked at it every day and never opened it up, I can guarantee you learned something about yourself. It communicated something probably important. Yep. So what'd you learn, Mary?
So I may not have used the journal specifically, but I took elements of it that we've been discussing, like AM routine, PM routine, the to-do list, and self-reflection. And the way I did it, and I kind of talked about it in one of our Candid conversations back, was like a chore chart. So I had the idea, the seeds were planted, and just like you said, like I didn't touch it for a while, not until maybe a week or two ago. I was like, okay, I'm editing this, I'm printing it, and I had it where I kind of added stickers like a kid, because my brain likes to see the checklist, like when we talk about like the checklist off, that serotonin of, okay, I did stuff. And it was great that I could see what I've done each day. But then I realized my brain doesn't like the way I did it, because it was only for a week. So then I re-edited it, found another one online where it was a full month progress, where I could really see like the breakdown 1 through 31 days, the list of the stuff on the side. And I've liked that a lot better, because not only do I get to see, but I also get to see the progression long term. And it's been great, because like I said, I like that completing that to-do list, like we've talked about, in our previous episodes, of like collecting the gold stars, doing all the checks, because I feel accomplished. I'm like, okay, yeah, I actually did something. But I also have this other side of like that self-check-in that we've talked about, of, where I go into that productivity loop. I think a lot of us do that. We've talked about that, too, where, oh, I need to do more. There's something else. But then when I look at the list, I'm like, no, you've already like filled in like 4 squares today. It's fine. You can take a break. It's okay. There's been a lot done. You went to work, you did notes, and now at home, you washed the dishes, took out the trash, did this. You can pause. We're good today, and that has been helpful to see and to check in on myself, too, like even the days that I don't get stuff done as well, or like, it's not a lot. I'm like, what was happening that day? And I'll kind of reflect. I'm like, oh, well, it was pretty busy at work. There's a lot happening, and just didn't have the oomph to do any more, at home, but it's okay, so it's been really helpful to have that as a visual representation, for myself, even if it wasn't exactly the journal. Just having those elements has helped a lot with just understanding me, how my brain is working, how I approach tasks, and what works,
That's awesome. And so it's so interesting, because one, I just need to praise you for finding what works for your brain, respecting and loving your brain. And knowing what's gonna, be kind of like one of those Jedi mind tricks to get it to to do things for you. But it's interesting to me that one of the things you didn't name on a daily prompt is grace, but that's what you learned. Like every time you're talking, I'm like, well, she gave herself grace. She learned about the productivity loop, and she was like, yeah, but this is enough. Like really tackling that negative core belief of I'm not enough. It's all about what I do or what I accomplish. Like that's huge.
Yeah.
That's huge. It goes a long way to chisel away at that negative core belief and be like, this is a lie. And I can give myself grace and say, no, I am enough. And there are things that are going to be there tomorrow. There's always going to be things that are there tomorrow. But did I focus on the important things today?
Yeah.
And that's huge.
It really was. Like, I think it was just one of those small light bulb moments that I had as I was working on this project. And I was like, yeah, like, because I remember, I think it was like a Saturday, and I had checked off stuff that I don't usually do because I actually had it on the list. It's actually on my mind now. And when I looked, I was like, oh, I've done like 4 or 5 things today. I think it's okay for me to not do anything the rest of the night. We did the tough stuff already. We've got tomorrow to do it.
That's right.
And I think it's been very helpful to realize that because, myself, other people, I think we get bogged down by that. I'm not enough. My love is conditional. That's one thing that I saw on my social media that really made an impact, that some of us have been taught that if I only do X amount of things right, or I have to do it in the right way, then I'll receive love. When, no, you don't. You don't have to do that. You can just be who you are.
You just deserve it all the time.
Right.
Yeah. And so thank you for sharing. And I feel like every single person who engages, I hope, it is my hope that everybody who engages this journal will figure out what works best for them and that it will change over time. Because for me, I've been doing this since 2021. So what is that? I don't know. What is that?
3 years. 3 years.
Plus. Well, which is equals 3, 6, 9, 12. I mean, like I've done like 12, 15 journals. And so I think it's important to note that it's 90 days for a reason. And it's because it does take 90 days to realize, not just see, but realize change. Okay? It takes 90 days not just to change a behavior or automate a new but healthy habit, but to actually see the change and to realize it and even to be motivated by it. That's why it's like, just do it for 90 days and then let's take a look and pivot and change and re-implement and reinstitute and just whatever needs to happen. But I have engaged this journal differently every single 12, 15 journals, right? I've never done it the same way. And it was really based on what I needed in that season of life and what big 3 behaviors I was tackling. It's going to look different every single time, I hope. So I think it's important because that's part of self-discovery. It's part of knowing yourself. It's part of respecting and honoring your brain and kind of like what you need. So just, you might not have written in the box that said grace.
Right.
You still learned it.
Yeah.
You still offered it to yourself, which is huge. And so I wanted to point that out because I believe that you are going to be working through these prompts even if you don't realize you're working through the prompts. I just think it's there to provide structure. So for me, and I know I've mentioned this season as we're looking at the journal, but I really needed the dopamine hit of check, did that, check, didn't do that. So like if I'm trying to disengage with sugar, did I do that today? Check. It really felt good at the end of the day to be like, yeah, there was one more day, one more 24-hour period that I was able to really honor my 90-day goals. And that feels great. That's something that I need. It's important for my brain. I like to see those days add up. I like to see that out of, 90 days, I've done 80 days. You know, because I know that that's 80 days more than I did last month or last year. You know, that's huge. Right. And it helped me with that perfectionism in that case, because it was like 80 days is 80 days more than I did before. Why on earth would that not be enough for me? Right. I had to look at that. Like, if that's not enough, if I need it to be perfect, I have to learn that something about myself, because there's no such thing as perfect, and why would I even strive for that? Right. And I do really, really love the forecasting. It's really manifesting for the next day. I don't think anything has been more healing for me than making sure that I'm spending time imagining what I want tomorrow to look like, and how I want to feel, and how I want to move through that day, and what I want to accomplish, because I'm now able to do it. I'm now able to do it because I manifested it. I thought about it. I envisioned it. I imagined it, and I felt it. It's just huge. So I've seen a lot of personal change in the forecasting section, as you know, like notes to your future self, and what do you want tomorrow to look like? What is the embodied feeling that you want to carry through the day tomorrow? And it helped me really tap into my needs. Needs aren't listed on there, but it's the biggest takeaway that I've gotten from this journaling practice is knowing what I need and honoring what I need. Okay? It's huge. So those are the things that I get out of it. And plus, I've been able to automate like 20 new behaviors that I really needed in my life. Yeah.
I think my biggest thing too to our listeners and everybody who's watching, you know, on YouTube, like, I mean, it's going to take time. You know, I can be a testament to that. Like, you can have the seed of the idea to do it, but when you start doing it, it does feel good, and you will learn a lot about yourself, no matter what it is you're trying to incorporate. You know, if it's, I don't know, trying to get more fruit and vegetables in your diet, trying to get a better sleep routine, or just, you know, work-life balance. You'll notice changes, and it feels good when you can do that for yourself and just really get attuned to what you need. Like you said, like those needs, and just understanding you in a different light.
And a lot of people have a very deep negative core belief of either like, I'm all alone, I'm not going to make it, I'm not going to survive this, I don't know how to take care of myself. This will absolutely confront all of those negative core beliefs, because you're proving that all of that's a lie. And so I see the biggest value in just being like a negative core belief buster, right? If you stick with this, you will be able to heal old wounds. First, take the blinders off to them, and then start to heal them. So I just think it's a great opportunity. And like I've said all season long, it does not have to be this journal. But please do implement a journaling practice that works for you, because we all need time for contemplation and self-reflection. We all need to hover and spend time in uncomfortable thoughts and feelings and memories. I have clients in session who have these like tremendous moments, these light bulb moments, these connect the dot moments. But if they're not going to go home and hover over it and journal and go deeper with it, you know, it's kind of lost. It's very short-lived. It's like a shooting star, you know, but we really want to go deep with things, and journaling practice allows you to go deeper. So, yeah.
No, I think it's been a great, even though I've only done this for like week, 2 weeks at most, you know, I do appreciate, you know, being able to, like you said, like find something that my brain likes, even just taking these elements from this journal. So I really do encourage people, like, take some elements, you know, if it's just doing the AM and PM routine, finding it your way, that's beautiful enough, you know, just, and then slowly incorporate other stuff. Because, I mean, like I said, I learned a lot of stuff about me, and it's been great, you know, to be able to do that.
Yeah. Another thing I want to add is, like, I now pay attention to much more than 3 behaviors. I don't track them every day. There's 3 that I'm tracking for 90 days, but I'm reflecting back on about 15 of them now, 12, 15. And just to monitor them. And it's so interesting to see what falls off the list or what I don't do in times of stress. I can now catch stress before it catches me through my journaling practice. And it has been so helpful to be like, oh, what's going on? Like, what? I mean, like, I know I was sick, or I know that I was stressed, or I know that I was, something has happened and something has shifted energetically, but look at what continues to fall off first. And that's communicated so much to me. And so I think that's just another takeaway. Yeah.
I think one of the questions that comes to my mind, like when you talk about change, for 90 days, and when you see it like the season when we did our 30, 60, 90-day check-in, what exactly would I look for, or our listeners, watchers, look for when it comes to change? Like, what are the shifts that they may need to see? Like, okay, is it like taking something away, adding, what would you suggest?
I think the first 30 days is huge. The first 30 days, most of us are noticing the resistance and how challenging it is and how uncomfortable maybe it is, or all the excuses or the defense mechanisms or the denial, or, oh, this is stupid, or I don't, all of that comes up in the first, 30 days. And of course it does, right? It's a new behavior and it's healthy. It's like, we kind of turn our nose up at the spinach, right? I mean, and that's what this is. Right. So I think the 30 days, you're really pivoting to be like, okay, maybe I didn't set realistic goals. Maybe I am now realizing that I'm not going to be able to get good sleep unless I abstain from alcohol. Maybe I'm noticing that the behaviors that I chose aren't really the issue. So the first 30 days, like, you might scrap it and start from scratch. I mean, and I love that. I mean, you've still got 60 days to be learning and changing and pivoting. And if you're tackling like a big behavior, especially something that's very ingrained or addictive or toxic, I mean, it's not going to take just 90 days. I think you can move into, not just abstinence, but a little beyond in 90 days. But that's something you're going to want to track for 2 years, maybe 5, right? So, the first 30 days, I think it's just constantly pivoting, constantly noticing, but continuing to come back to it. Just committing to showing up is enough. And then in the 60 days, you start to notice that maybe you've set some more realistic expectations, some more realistic goals, and you're starting to learn even more about like who you are and about your resistance. I think in the 60 days, you're getting more honest with yourself. You're getting more vulnerable with yourself. And I think in the 90 days, you're starting to see the benefits. Like, you're starting to see like, oh gosh, this is something that I really want to continue to commit to. In the 90 days, you're like, oh, this journaling thing's actually working for me. But before that, I don't think you're going to realize the benefits.
No, I mean, that tracks and it makes sense, because I mean, like, I will say, like, for some people, this is it's intimidating to see, like, prompts, this, that. So I could see where it's kind of like, no, I'd rather not do it. I'll just stick to my old stuff, So I really appreciate this breakdown.
And if I thought I had to do it all, I'd be extremely overwhelmed too, which is why I try to make it really clear that engaging your journal every day just looks like checking those top 5 boxes, really. AM, PM, 3 behaviors. You can put it up after that. The prompts are when you have time to dig deeper. Maybe you've had one of those days where you've carried around like toxic shame or negative emotion, or you've got some anger, or you had a confrontation with somebody, or, and you really want to dive deeper. I hope that you will. But I trust that, one day at a time, you can notice what you need and how much time you need to engage with the journal, as long as you are showing up to it. That's all that matters. Yeah.
No, and I appreciate it, and I think this will definitely be helpful for a lot of people. Just, I think, again, chunking it, taking it small bites, like you said. Like, I'd be intimidated. Do it small. Start off small, and then we'll gradually add.
Yeah, I forecast. I check my boxes, and I forecast every day. It's probably in a 30-day period, 7 days that I'm going to do the whole thing. Just being honest. I mean, like, man, that's plenty.
Yeah,
it's
really is. Yeah.
I mean, if I do 7 days of the whole thing out of 30 days, that's excellent. I mean, I have a full and a busy life. I'm not always going to be able to dive deep with my journal, but I'm going to show up to it every day. Yeah. Awesome. Thanks, Mary.
No,
and thanks, guys, for showing up and for your interest and your curiosity. And if you're still with us, maybe you want to check out the, journal, the mini journal for recovery and self-discovery. And you can go to Amazon and you can type in Andrea Epting or you can type in the Plan to Recover mini journal, maybe even just mini journal, maybe not, not sure. But you can go to Amazon and get your own, or you can visit our website at www.lightninginabottle.biz. All right, thanks so much. Bye for now.